Friends, today we are going to talk about a book that created a sensation worldwide right after it was published. Yes, I am talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In this book, 6 important lessons are shared, which if followed can make anyone wealthy. If you desire to become rich, don't miss a single point. Robert Kiyosaki talks about having 2 fathers. One was his biological father, whom he refers to as his poor dad, and the other was his mentor, whom he calls his rich dad, who taught him the secrets of wealth. His poor dad was highly educated and intelligent. He had a PhD and completed his 4-year undergraduate course in less than 2 years. On the other hand, his rich dad had only studied up to the 8th grade. Both worked hard throughout their lives, but one, despite being highly educated, was always struggling with money and passed away leaving debts behind. The other, even without much formal education, became one of the wealthiest individuals in Hawaii and left millions of dollars to his family, church, and the needy. Why did this happen? Because their ways of thinking about money were completely different. One father used to say that the love of money is the root of all evil, while the other would say the lack of money is the root of all evil. One father had a habit of saying, "I can't afford this," while the other father would get irritated and insist that the right way to think was, "How can I afford this?" The first statement is negative, and the second one is a question that forces your mind to think. When we say, "I can't afford it," our mind stops working, but when we ask, "How can I afford it?" our mind starts working. There was a huge difference in the thought process between the 2 fathers. One father would teach, "Study hard so you can get a good job in a company," while the other would say, "Study hard so you can buy a good company." One father used to say, "I am not rich because I have to take care of my children," while the other would say, "I need to be rich because I have to take care of my children." One father would always encourage talking about money and business at the dinner table, while the other would discourage such discussions. One would say, "When it comes to money, take safe steps, don't take risks," while the other would say, "Learn to face risks." One father believed that our home is our biggest investment and our biggest asset, while the other believed, "My home is my liability." And if you think your home is your biggest investment, you're mistaken. Both paid their bills on time, but one would pay his bills first, while the other would pay his last. One father taught him how to write a good resume to find a good job, while the other taught him how to write strong business and financial plans so he could create jobs for others. When I was a child, I understood that we should pay attention to our thoughts. I saw that my poor dad wasn't poor because he earned less, but because his thoughts and actions were in line with those of the poor. When Robert started learning from his rich dad, he was only 9 years old. His rich dad taught him 6 important lessons over 30 years. This book is about those 6 lessons, and now I am going to tell you about those 6 important lessons, which helped Robert's dad become rich and Robert too. So listen carefully and don't miss a single point. Lesson 1. Rich people don't work for money. Money works for them. Poor and middle-class people work for money. Yes, you heard it right. No rich person works for money. Instead, they do something that makes money work for them. A poor or middle-class person gets stuck in a rat race and never manages to escape. So first, we need to understand what a rat race is. Robert says that when a poor or middle-class person gets a job, they immediately start thinking about buying new things for themselves. They buy expensive luxury items like clothes, shoes, phones, laptops, and fancy cars, and then they get trapped in EMIs that they have to pay for years. This trap makes them unable to break free. If they miss even a month of work, they get scared thinking about how to pay their EMIs and clear their debts, worrying about their car being seized by the bank and the social embarrassment that would follow. So they wake up in the morning, go to work, come back in the evening, and repeat the cycle every day, collecting their salary and paying the bills. This system continues every day and every month, and they get so trapped in it that they can't get out. Robert calls this the rat race. If you want to get out of the rat race, you have to stop working for money and make money work for you. Only then can you escape the rat race. Rich people don't work for money. They do something that makes money work for them. But how? Let's see in the upcoming points. Stay tuned and keep watching because the next points are going to be very interesting. Lesson 2. Why should we learn about money? Most people never realize that the key thing isn't how much money you make, but how much you can keep. Have you heard stories about poor people who win the lottery and become rich, but within a short time they go back to being poor? These people win millions and even billions, but they end up broke again. Similarly, you've heard stories about athletes who earn millions at 24 but end up sleeping under a bridge by 34. What's the reason behind this? The reason is simple. They never understood money. Over time, it's not important how much you make, but how much you save and how long you can hold onto that wealth. My rich dad told me when I was a child, if you want to be rich, you need to understand money. To understand money, you must know the difference between assets and liabilities and always buy assets. If you want to be rich, just know this. Keep buying assets and you'll grow wealthy. It sounds simple, but most people don't understand how important this rule is. Most people struggle with money because they don't understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Rich people accumulate assets, while poor and middle-class people accumulate liabilities. And the funny thing is, they think they're accumulating assets. Start minding your own business. Keep doing your daily job, but also start buying real assets. Avoid liabilities or personal things that lose their value once you bring them home. The moment you drive a new car out of the showroom, its value decreases by 25%. This is not real wealth, although your banker may consider it an asset. So the question arises, what kind of assets should we be collecting? I am inspiring you or your children to collect a certain type of assets. In my world, real assets come in many forms. 1. Businesses where I don't have to be involved. I am the owner, but others run them. If I have to work there, it's not a business, it's a job. 2. Stock market or share market where you invest money and keep working. 3. Government bonds. 5. Mutual funds. 5. Income-generating real estate. 6. Anything valuable that generates income and appreciates in value, with a prepared market for it. These are the types of assets where after you invest money, you don't have to work for them. You just invest and continue with your daily work. Your asset column will keep growing on its own. When I say mind your own business, I mean strengthen your asset column. Once a dollar goes in, it should never come out. Think of it like this. When a dollar enters your asset column, it becomes an employee working for you. Keep doing your job diligently, but focus on growing your asset column. And yes, an important point. When your cash flow increases, you can buy luxury items. The important fact here is that rich people buy luxury items last, whereas poor and middle-class people buy them first. This sentence is so important that if you understand it, you'll understand why the rich stay rich. You can even go back and listen to this again. Lesson 4. History of taxes and the power of corporations. In this point, Robert explains that you should not let the government take your hard-earned money through taxes easily. Within the law, we should explore every method to save millions of rupees in taxes. The truth is, the rich don't pay taxes. The money spent on the welfare of the poor comes from the middle class, especially the educated and high-income middle class. Once we understand the power of money working for us, we must become financially smart and find ways to deal with intimidating people. For this, you need a basic understanding of the law and how the system works. If you're ignorant, you can be easily intimidated, but if you know what you're talking about, you'll have a chance to escape. That's why the rich pay top salaries to smart accountants and lawyers. Paying lawyers is cheaper than paying taxes to the government. If you've stayed with me this far, it means you're on your way to becoming rich. The rich create money. There are two more important lessons to go, so stay tuned. We're about to understand this. Pay attention. My wife and I have a stock portfolio that we call our personal mutual fund. We buy shares of private companies that are about to go public on the stock exchange in the US or Canada, taking more risks. For example, we bought 100,000 shares at 25 cents each before the company went public. 6 months later, when the company got listed, the share price went up to $1 per share. If the company is well managed, the prices keep rising, and the stock could be worth $5 per share or even more. There were years when our $25,000 investment turned into $1 million in less than a year. This is not gambling if you know what you're doing. Gambling happens when you throw your money into a deal and pray to God for success. You need technical knowledge, intelligence, and a love for the game to keep the risk low. Remember, great opportunities can't be seen by your eyes, they can only be seen by your mind. Lesson 6. Work to learn, not for money. When I asked my class how many of them can make a better hamburger than McDonald's, almost all of the students raised their hands. Then I ask, if most of you can make better hamburgers, why does McDonald's make more money than you? The answer is clear. McDonald's is better at business systems. Most talented people are poor because they focus all their attention on making a better hamburger and don't know anything about business systems. The world is full of talented poor people. Often they are either poor, struggling with money problems, or earning less than their abilities. The reason is not the subject of their knowledge, but their ignorance. They spend all their time improving their skills to make better hamburgers, but never focus on how to sell and deliver the hamburger to people. Maybe McDonald's doesn't make the best hamburger, but they are the best at selling and delivering an average hamburger. It's important to understand this point well. If you don't get it, listen to it again. My advice to young people is, when looking for a job, don't focus on how much you're earning, but on how much you're learning. Look ahead and decide which skills you want to master before choosing a profession, so you don't get stuck in the rat race. Life is a lot like going to the gym. The hardest part is deciding to go. Once you make the decision, everything else gets easier. There have been many days when I've dreaded going to the gym, but once I'm there and start working out, I begin enjoying it. When I leave, I'm always happy that I went. So these were the 6 lessons that Rich Dad taught Robert Kiyosaki, and because of these lessons, he became the richest person in Hawaii. But at the end, I want to tell you a bonus point that you need to understand to truly grasp the secrets of wealth in this book. So listen carefully. There are 3 types of income accounting in the world. 1. Earned income. 2. Passive income. 3. Portfolio income. When my real dad told me to go to school, get good grades, and find a safe job, he was advising me to work for earned income. When my rich dad said, "Rich people don't work for money, they make money work for them," he was talking about passive income and portfolio income. In most cases, passive income comes from real estate investments, and portfolio income comes from paper assets like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Bill Gates became the richest person in the world through portfolio income, not earned income. Rich Dad used to say, "The key to wealth is converting earned income into passive and portfolio income as soon as possible." Listen to this line again. He also said that taxes are the highest on earned income. The lowest taxes are on passive income. This is another reason why you should make your money work for you. The government taxes the income you work hard for the most and taxes the income your money works for the least. So friends, this was the complete summary of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But I believe this book should be read repeatedly, not just once, to truly understand its teachings. If you want to buy this book, both the Hindi and English versions are linked in the description. Let me know how you liked this video in the comments section, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because we will keep bringing more book series for you. Bye.